I want to balance the score a little bit. There's a lot of hate out there for EGR and particulate filters and all the pollution controls that are fitted to modern cars, and in many cases it's quite justified. They are a real pain, a real frustration. The thing that we base this information on and our feelings towards it is the negative feedback that we get from people. Now what I've done, I've looked at cars that have done really high mileages with particulate filters, with EGR systems, who have had very little carbon buildup, very little problems with those components. And I've compared that to people that I've seen with problems with their particulate filters. The question was raised, is there anything you can do to prevent problems from your EGR and your particulate filter? And I know a lot of people just say, remove them, you don't need them. Now, for some areas, that's fine to do. In other areas, that's against the law. And we certainly shouldn't be endorsing breaking the law. We need to obey the local regulations as best we can. And this video really, it just helps us to run our cars in such a way that we minimize the potential for problems on these systems. Now, one thing we've noticed with EGR problems and with carbon buildup on the intake and also with particulate filter problems is maintenance. Drivers that maintain their car fastidiously, they do it every 3 to 6 to 7,000 miles instead of 9,000 to the 2-year long life services, have far fewer problems with all of these systems. Now that could be the driver's overall mindset. Most of the problems we see associated with these pollution control systems are actually down to other issues in the engine. It may be an injector not working correctly, causing the engine to run lean or to run rich, and running rich is often the problem. It produces a lot more soot, which creates this issue elsewhere in the engine. Now, the other aspect is the quality of oils that we use in the car. Do we use these low sulfur oils, the oils that are specially formulated for the engines that we drive, or do we just chuck some old cheap oil in that has the wrong additive package? And that's just asking for trouble. That's going to clog up these particulate filters even sooner. The next thing we've noticed is the fuel that people have used. Now, thankfully, most modern fuels are quite heavily regulated, but we have noticed that premium brands, and I'm not going to name and shame brands here. Personally, I use Shell V-Power and I really like it. And I have noticed when I use Shell V-Power, the engine is noticeably cleaner. The exhaust pipe is clean. There's very little soot in the EGR system or on the intake. And the fuel choice that we make can have a big bearing on the efficiency of the engine. There's another debate to be had as to whether high octane fuel, if your engine is designed for it, also assists, and I'll be very interested to hear your comments on that argument. Personally, I feel that if your car is designed for higher octane fuel and you use it, it's going to run more efficiently. There's going to be less soot buildup, and it's soot that is the problem. It's not necessarily these pollution control systems. The other thing is the driver's habits. Drivers that do very short journeys on very cold engines, or they only use the car once a week, are more likely to have problems with all these pollution control systems than drivers that do longer journeys, that drive aggressively from time to time, not all the time, but a little bit of spirited driving can really help to clear things out and keep everything running efficiently and smoothly. Many diesel drivers that do lots of motorway drives over long distances at fairly high speeds or at reasonable road speeds don't even notice the DPF regeneration cycles that are happening. It just happens automatically and keeps everything running clear. And we've seen engines that do 140,000, 200,000 miles without any problems at all from the particulate filters. But conversely, we have seen some engines at 60 and 70,000 that have had terrible carbon buildup. And I just really wanted to explain in this video that it's not necessarily the pollution control systems. They've generally been quite well designed. They do the job that they were meant to do. They do reduce some of the emission gases. I know a lot of our viewers and readers have had situations where they still meet the emissions regulations even without these systems, but we're not debating that in this video. We're just discussing the fact that it is possible to mitigate the problems from carbon buildup and EGR just by decisions we make as a driver. Summarising, the fuel we use, the oils we use, the way we service the car and the way we drive the car can all have a big impact. And if we're pretty good with all of those, it's very unlikely we'll have an issue with our particulate filter or with our exhaust gas recirculation system or with carbon build-up on the intake at all. However, if we do lots of short journeys with lots of cold starts on the engine and we really neglect the servicing and we just put the cheapest fuel in that we can find and we're not too worried about the additive package that comes with the fuel, they're the people that are going to start to experience problems. The problems are often more frequent regeneration of the particulate filter, and in many cases the particulate filter will become blocked and need replacing or removal and professional cleaning. Please let me know your thoughts on this subject. Do you really hate pollution control systems, or have you learned to live with them? We tend to hear from those that have a very negative view of them. If you've got a positive view of them, please let me know in the comments. It'll help us all to have a much more rounded out view on this important subject that every modern motorist faces. Thanks for watching. Please boot the like button if you found this video useful. Please let me know your comments, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. That does help us to get out there when the algorithm sees subscribers, and I've lined this video and this playlist up for you that you should find really interesting. Thanks for watching. See you in this next video.